Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about these so-called ghost guns that are, seem to be a big deal in the news. And the big deal that they make out of these guns, they call them untraceable. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if they're traceable or not traceable because a very tiny percentage of crimes have ever been solved by tracing a gun, okay? And it by itself wouldn't be enough to convict anybody, okay? In fact, even if you have DNA evidence, which is probably the strongest evidence that you can bring into court as far as forensic evidence, even that by itself, DNA evidence by itself, is not enough to convict somebody of a crime if you have a good lawyer. Okay, if you have a crappy lawyer, you pretty much have no chance. But if you have a good lawyer that can basically question that evidence and poke holes at it and question its reliability, even DNA evidence is by itself is very weak. I mean, you need a lot of other things that you need. Most crimes are solved by confession. Okay, that's why they make a really big deal about, the cops really, when they arrest somebody, they want to get the person to talk to them before the lawyer can get there. And because they know that if they can get a confession out of this person before the lawyer gets there, they have a very good chance of closing that case. Okay, so that's why they really make all efforts to try and get people to talk when they arrest them. They'll tell them bullshit like they're there to help them out, and it'll be a lot easier for them, and all this nonsense. It's all lies. But that's the reason they want to get a confession before the lawyer gets there and basically tells the client not to say anything. Okay, so but going back to what I was going to say is very few crimes are ever solved. Okay, and and it's quite possibly that no crime has ever been solved by a gun trace. Okay, it by itself is not sufficient for conviction. I mean, if you think about it, if you have, let's say, a guy on the East Coast, right? Who purchased the gun, and somehow down the road, a gun with a serial number is used in the crime and is somehow, traced back to this person. And this person's never been to California. You can't convict this person of murder. He's never been to California. So it by itself is not strong enough evidence. And furthermore, from the point that you purchase a firearm or anything, it's possible for errors to be made in the paperwork. Okay, the serial numbers can be, reversed, flipped. There's all sorts of errors that can happen. And I mean, if you just look at like your car registration, there's always cases, popping up of car registrations being wrong, the license plate numbers being wrong, or the VIN numbers being wrong. I mean, I think at one point I had a car where the VIN number was wrong on my registration. I mean, that happens. Okay, so tracing a gun trace by itself is not sufficient evidence to solve a crime, and it has never really been effective in solving crime. So it really doesn't make a difference if the gun even has a serial number or doesn't have a serial number. I mean, look at all the knives that are used in crimes. Those knives don't have serial numbers on them. And basically the way crimes are usually solved is that you actually catch the person at the scene committing the crime. There's witnesses that see this person, that know this person, and there's that type of a proof. There's visual proof that this person committed the crime, and then from that point forward, if they can get a confession out of this person, that is usually will lead to a strong conviction. So gun traces by itself are not, have never really been useful in solving crimes. The strongest forensic evidence that's available today is, it's not even fingerprinting, it's DNA evidence, and like I said, even that can be picked apart by a good lawyer. Okay, so even that by itself is not good enough. So it makes no difference if the guns have serial numbers on them or they don't have serial numbers on them. So I want to share my thoughts on that. If you like the video, share it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.